The night stretched wide like a wounded sky, and the moon hung low, trembling in silver grief. Beneath its sorrowed light stood Fazza, the prince of verses, the poet of the desert's silent heart. His palace glimmered behind him, gold and marble kissed by moonlight. Yet none of that beauty could touch the storm inside his chest. He looked up, eyes wet with unseen tears. The world thought him unbreakable, but even gold bends when the fire is long. Is greater than, O moon, he whispered. You watch the world and keep its secrets. Tonight will you cry with? And the moon, in all her soft sorrow, seemed to dim, as if she too remembered love once lost. He sat on the edge of the fountain, where water mirrored his sadness. The ripples carried his reflection, a ruler loved by millions, but touched by none tonight. He thought of her, the voice that once turned silence into melody, the eyes that once carried home in their gaze. Now she was a memory, a wound wrapped in poetry. He's greater than, she was light, he murmured, and I was shadow. She gave me her sun, I gave her my silence. The moon wept silently in silver tears across the water, and Fazza, with hands clasped like a prayer, closed his eyes and let the pain breathe. The next night came slowly, carrying the same sadness in softer form. Fazza walked barefoot in the palace garden, where jasmine bloomed despite the ache in the air. Every petal seemed to whisper her name. He stopped beneath the date palm, the one she planted with laughter years ago. Now it stood taller than grief, stronger than time. He touched its trunk and said softly, "Is greater than, even trees remember love. Why must men forget?" His eyes lifted toward the moon again. That eternal witness of his heart is greater than, you see me smile by day, but only you know my truth by night. He walked to the dunes beyond the walls, the open desert where the heart speaks freely. The sand was cool beneath his feet, the stars sharp above his head. He looked around, and in every grain he saw a story of love, loss, and faith. He began to speak aloud, his voice steady yet trembling. Is greater than, O desert, you have taken my tears and hidden them well. You have buried my pain and made it look like peace. The wind brushed past him, gentle, forgiving, as though even nature wanted him to heal. He stood there until dawn, the moon fading, but her light still lingering in his eyes. Fazza knelt at dawn, when the call to prayer echoed through the silence. His soul bowed deeper than his body. This time he was not asking for her return, but for his heart's peace. Is greater than, Ya Allah, he whispered. You took her away, but let me not lose myself. The tears came again, not like storms, but like mercy. Every drop carried release. He remembered her laughter, her warmth, the way she once said, "You carry the world, Fazza. Who carries you?" And now, in this prayer, he finally had his answer. Only Allah carries hearts too heavy for man. He rose from the mat with quiet strength. The first sunlight touched his face, a promise of healing, a whisper that pain, too, was divine. He wrote in his journal, "Love may leave, but faith stays." And in that, I have everything again. Weeks passed. The palace garden bloomed brighter, and the same moon that once wept now glowed like peace reborn. Fazza walked along the balcony again, but this time his steps were light, his gaze unburdened. He spoke softly into the night. is greater than, O moon. You cried with me once. Tonight, smile with me. And she did, casting silver light over his face, turning his old tears into tiny stars upon his cheeks. He lifted his pen, and for the first time in months, his words were not of loss, but of gratitude. Is greater than pain, he wrote. You were never my enemy. You were my teacher, my companion on the road to light. He closed the journal, looked up at the stars, and whispered one last prayer. Is greater than to the moon that cried, to the love that left, to the God who stayed. Thank you. The desert exhaled softly, the falcon soared above, and Fazza smiled, not as a prince broken by sorrow, but as a poet reborn in peace.